back with Judge Mathis, the founder of TEAR, and Dog Chapman. Joining us now, DEBRA TATE. Her sister, Sharon Tate, who I had the honor of interviewing, was murdered by the Manson family. And Pat Brown, the criminal profiler and author of The Profiler, My Life Hunting Serial Killers and Psychopaths. All right, DEBRA, you're a victim, family victim of crime. How do you approach this whole system of rehabilitation?
Well, actually, Larry, it's a surprise to most people, but I do believe in rehabilitation. There are sociopaths and psychopaths that definitely, and sexual predators that need to stay behind bars forever. But there are a lot of people that don't fall into that category, and we definitely need to set in place systems to rehabilitate.
One of the people who killed your sister recently was denied parole for the 170th time.
Correct.
I interviewed her once in prison. She seems like she's totally real, but would you release her?
Most sociopaths do on brief encounters. Even I was privileged to find out recently that the psychological evaluations on people such as the Manson family is only a 1-hour interview with a psychiatrist, and that is what they base everything on. You couldn't possibly know what a person is like with a brief encounter.
So you wouldn't let her out?
No, absolutely not.
She almost is the most popular person at that prison.
Yes.
All right, Pat, are the people you deal with different?
Well, yeah, I'm going to agree with the statement that if there are psychopaths, violent psychopaths, not just necessarily con men, but violent psychopaths and sex predators, serial killers, serial rapists, these are the kind of people that are not safe back in society, and they've committed such horrendous crimes that there's no excuse to let them back in society. In other words, for the safety of society and for punishment, they don't deserve to ever see the outside again. And one of the problems we have sometimes with these kind of guys, when you start giving them the psychological exams and you give them the education in prison, is that they use the system so well, they're so manipulative, they'll convince you that, oh, that's my old way of thinking. Now I have a new way of thinking. Yeah, no, you don't. You crossed over a line to brutally rape women. You haven't really changed that kind of mindset.
What do you think of Judge Mathis's program, though, of dealing with those prisoners who don't come into that description you just gave?
Right. Well, I agree with Judge in some of the ways. I think incrementally, yes. I think you have to find a way to help these people move to the outside. I think they need to pay back society. I think they need to work within society. Like when they come out, I think they need to pay for part of the rehabilitation so that it's not just a free ride that they're getting. They're actually paying back to society and paying back the victims they took advantage of. And I have to mention this thing about expungement because I kind of disagree with that. Because when you expunge a record, that means you lie to society. You know, you're telling a person to go into a job, and when they ask you, did you commit a crime, you put no down, you're a liar. That's not a good citizen. And we have the right to know if a person has been through the system. Right. We have that right. But they should have a way to come out as well.
Let the judge respond. I got you, Judge.
Yeah, well, the individual isn't lying. The politicians have passed the law. The elected officials in the legislature have passed the law stating that. So adhering to the law is not lying.
If they ask you if you committed a crime and you say no, you're lying.
Excuse me. Not if the elected officials have voted such.
But you're still lying.
You're still lying.
Well,
I wouldn't want to be put in the position to lie.
Pat, let him finish.
Well, then an expungement for the most part is just that. It takes it off your record, so it's no longer on your record.
And so you get a better job.
Correct, and the purpose of which is that.
Hello, Dog, what do you think of that?
Well, you know, I used to put will discuss.
Good for you.
Because you're not going to get a job. You're not going to get an apartment. You're not going to get nothing. You know, so if you go in there and say, yeah, you know, I was convicted of murder, but I just was standing there, I didn't do it. They're like, see ya. You try to pick up a girl and meet her father, and, you know, there's a lot of things you have to kind of tell a white lie about. If you're honest, okay, I was convicted, but my life is, you know, changed now. I got 5 babies to feed people. Society does not accept that, and we don't expect them to. So, you know, the judge has got to...
What do you think? Yeah, DEBRA, what do you think?
I do believe that expungement is a necessary tool in a nonviolent offender. Absolutely. Yes. That society will not give them a break if they are aware of that. And the whole purpose is to get them educated and back into the workforce where they can pay taxes and become normal functioning individuals.
Well said. Pat, if they can't get a job, they're going to be criminals again, aren't they?
Oh, that's true. I do. As I say, I believe in an incremental approach to bringing them into society, where they come out, they do time working in, for society, getting educated, and people record this and help them back in by showing a good record over a period of time. I would hire somebody if I saw them go through a program like that. Yes, he committed a robbery back whenever, but in the 4 years he's been out, he worked for this program, he's done all this, he's paid back his victims, and he's been educated. I would give him a chance. But the problem is, you can't just walk out of prison, go into a job and say, I just got out, I just committed a bunch of, I just burgled a bunch of houses, but, I'm a safe guy. I mean, people have the right to hire people they feel safe and comfortable with. That's our right. And we have the right to know who we're dealing with. So I think we should put them through an incremental system that will help them get back to society in a good way.
I don't disagree with the incremental approach. In fact, that's what I advise prisoners when I go in and speak to them, letting them know incremental success is what they need to experience to enjoy a productive life. On the other hand, once again, returning to expungements, you have to wait 5 years of good behavior, no arrest or convictions before you're even eligible for that. And certainly 5 years is enough time to determine whether someone has been rehabilitated enough and therefore deserving of a second chance without obstacles.
This puzzles. Dog, maybe you have a thought. If prison's supposed to work, why do so many people go back?
Well, the reason, they go back is they cannot get a job. I don't think anyone really likes it. And when you go out with so many, and I'm not saying you change these laws, but have you ever been convicted? Yeah. If I could say like this, okay, my record was expunged. I did 5 years. I've been good. They're not going to give you a job. You're not going to get that. Let me tell you this. The other day, I was out fishing, Larry. I met 3 guys. 2 of them had done 16 years for murder 1 in the state of Colorado and had discharged those sentences. They run a business today called Doggone. They hunt down prairie dogs in Colorado, and they dispose of them. I mean, and the guy was the happiest could be. And I looked at him, and, I was a little, cautious. And I'll probably see him again as I approached him. And, I wouldn't give him a job either. I mean, I wouldn't have given the guy a job. And if he'd have said, once he said I was convicted of murder, dog, I was like, oh, God. And I was shaking his hand, and all I could do was say, God bless him. I agree with everyone, the severity and nature of offense. Mm-hmm. If God help you, if you kill someone in a fit of rage and you don't really mean to, and it's second-degree murder, you may deserve a second chance. If you go in, and I'm sorry, ma'am, about your family, like the Mansons who should have been executed and do horrendous murder crimes like that, they should put an end to your life right there. There's no rehabilitation. But we as a society need to work out. A lot of these people, Larry, also is they got caught. There's a lot of guys that do it and don't get caught. So everybody, has been in trouble and are good people. They just didn't get caught. We as a society need to help get these guys back in society.
Pat, are female prisoners different coming back than males?
Well, I think there's a tendency for female prisoners to be, generally speaking, less violent. So when they come out, they commit crimes. If they're going to commit crimes again, less violent crimes. But they still can be very manipulative and very psychopathic. So I really agree. It depends what they have done, whether they deserve that second chance, and whether we can trust them with that second chance.
All right, let me get a break, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.